Hello fellow humans, welcome to the Highlight, a new series that I'm going to be doing regularly while Worlds is going on, where we will be looking at, well, the highlight of a given series that was interesting and the build-up that led to said highlight, as well as any strategically interesting things that happen in this game. So we're starting off with this game because, firstly, there's an interesting follow-up to an earlier video I did. In case you didn't watch my video on MDK lane swaps, it is linked in the top right now. And the main difference to that one is that, as you can see here, Alvaro is getting chunked quite a lot level 1, which has an undesired side effect of him having to recall before he hits level 2. And he still tries to do the same thing he did in the original VOD of going to bot lane and trying to be the bait for Merwin to be able to collect the wave after he gets dove. But this time it gets a lot harder, number 1, because he is level 1, not level 2. And number 2, because of something he does now as well, which is face check into Wei, who then gets some nice punches into his face and softens him up a bit for the incoming dive. He then also tanks some auto attacks from Bin, which makes it so that he is now half HP and about to get dove, which makes BLG's job a hell of a lot easier. However, Merwin still wants to catch the wave, so he TPs in. BLG proceed to dive Alvaro without much issue. Can take a look at it quickly here, but it's really not that spectacular. But now the interesting part of the dive begins, which is Merwin is playing Cassante, which is champion very notorious for his W spell, right? Gives him a ton of damage reduction, CC immunity. So this dive is going to be a mind game about this spell, pretty much. If BLG throw all their damage into Merwin's W, then he will survive the dive, and BLG might even lose a few members. And if they manage to dodge it, then, well, they will most likely be able to kill him. So let's see what happens. And if you watch closely, you might notice that Merwin doesn't even use his W. And that's weirdly 5-hit in this situation because BLG can't kill him on the first rotation. And so once Wei auto attacks, he does actually use it and ends up getting a double kill or playing the dive in a pretty sick manner. So that was the first interesting strategic nuisance of, or nuance of this game rather. And to go to the next one, MDK actually put themselves in a reasonable spot up until now in the game. They're like even gold pretty much. Have some grubs to their name, down a few drakes, but what are you going to do? And the first point at which the game really gets a lot harder for them is when they choose to commit to this mid lane fight here, where you can see Aluria is going for a Raptors invade on the bot side because we currently have a bit of a split map situation in the sense that BLG has control around the top side of the map and MDK has bot side, so Aluria thinks he can go for the invade, which is correct. But then MDK also decide to fight on mid lane at the same time, which results in a scuffed fight for multiple reasons. Reason number 1 is, well, Aluria isn't involved because he's busy being on Raptors, and then secondly, Alvaro, who gets focused, isn't level 6 yet, as opposed to On's level 6. And so BLG actually end up winning the fight pretty handsomely here and get themselves a very solid lead. And yeah, from this point on, the game is a lot harder for MDK to play, but the final ankle-breaking macro diff blow from the Asian team against the European team comes at a later point, specifically at roughly minute 16, where you can see here that a Drake is coming up, and both teams are somewhat in position to contest it. BLG are establishing control through the midwave, setting up some wards, as you would expect them to. But then some interesting things happen. Mainly, you can see here that MDK, because BLG have mid lane control, they have to try to play through another lane, right? So in this case, if they want to play Drake, they have to go through bot, right? So they commit a lot of numbers to bot. That is, however, an issue because BLG still have the Herald at their disposal, and so they put that mid lane. And while MDK are busy committing 3 members to catching Bin on bot side, BLG completely run it down mid lane with their Herald, which is currently off screen, you can't see, but they took a mid tier 1 and are about to take a tier 2 as well, which is more than a worthy trade for the death of Bin, who runs away and stalls quite a bit of time here. And also, in the meantime, if you observe the minimap some more, you can actually spot Knight pushing in the top wave as well. So after MDK managed to kill Bin, they are somehow in a really awkward position because they have no waves to work with. Mid lane is completely pushed, top is completely pushed, bot is, well, more or less completely pushed. So they could try to go for a Drake now with their numbers advantage, but they would most likely lose at least top tier 2. And so they actually decide to defend the top tier 2 here, having Merwin reset, and then Riskawi be on bot tier 2. However, that lets Knight do this sick TP here, he's like, yo, if you're defending, then I will just TP down here. And then we're going to take the Drake anyway, which just results in BLG taking pretty much 3 towers, well, definitely 2, and then if you count the bot tier 1 that Bin got as well as a Drake, and a pick of the first Kawi as well. So from this point on, there was really no coming back to the game for MDK. And yeah, I hope you learned something from this game. If you did, I would really appreciate if you left in the comments what I could improve with this kind of videos, and you can also find the link to my community server there. I would really appreciate it if you join. We do giveaways, in-houses, all sort of fun stuff. If you care about improving at League, I highly recommend joining. And yeah, that's it for this one, and I hope to see you around.